Hey man, how's it going?
Loving the snow. Not too bad. And the wind. Oh my God, the wind.
The wind
60
has been
kilometers per
crazy.
hour wind or whatever it was.
Yeah,
I was,
even
dri-
I
I
heard
was
100 kilometers. That was crazy. Super, super
well,
fast, super
I'm
hard.
going off my widget app and it's generally always like 30% wrong. So
There you
like
go.
if it's like, oh, it's 5 degrees out, you go outside, it's like 20, you're like,
Yeah. No,
something's not right.
this weather for the end of April is uncalled for. This is ridiculous. I think a lot of
Yeah.
people are sick of it. Hopefully summer. You know what? Screw spring. Hopefully summer comes soon because this is just becoming ridiculous. But any
I'm
case,
okay with plus 15 weather for a little bit, and then you guys can get your 2 weeks of plus 30. And then after that, I want to go back to like 18 to 20
well,
degrees.
15 is always summer for me anyway. That doesn't bother me as long as it's
Yeah.
in the positive digits and we don't get snow anymore. But yeah, welcome back everybody to Bite My Shiny Metal Cast, the show where we discuss all things Futurama. Um, Want to throw out an apology for the viewers, of course, and the listeners. We unfortunately missed the previous week due to unforeseen circumstances that were just, you know, as life is. But today we're going to do a bit of a longer one for everything in general, but we're going to do both our synopsis and our review of this movie, of course, the Into the Wild Green Yonder, the last of the Futurama films. And at the very end, we can discuss a little bit more about what we thought of the movies as a whole. Because you and I kind of discussed it a little bit at the very beginning of the very first one we did, right, several weeks ago. But now we can really get into it if we want to. We can talk about more scenes that maybe we forgot to mention or talk about from before, and if anything pops into our head. But yeah, Into the Wild Green Yonder. It is the finale of the movies and of, you know, quote unquote, this era of the
Yep, the
Futurama
second
series. Yeah,
finale.
second finale. And overall, I think it's a very good movie. I don't think a
Yeah,
lot
it
of
is
people
an
give it enough.
overall.
Yeah, they don't give enough credit to this movie. Honestly, I think it's one of the better Futurama. Like this feels like a very extended Futurama episode. Aside
Yeah, it's
from
all
like,
Futurama.
yeah, well, except for like, I guess when we get into the review of it, but or into the synopsis of it, but like the Bender portion of this movie doesn't feel like it's part of this movie. You know what I mean? It's like, or at least not the beginning part of it with him and Fanny. So it's kind of a weird little thing they throw in there. But any case, let us begin. This movie begins differently, of course, as all of them do, but this one specifically differs because it has actually has an intro, and the intro is basically what we'll learn a little bit later in the film is in the deepest reaches of space. Okay, and we get this green wave of energy, which we come to learn is chi, and the chi basically encompasses this little area of the galaxy. I think it's in the Milky Way galaxy. I think that's what they mention. And
I think they said the Black Star system, so
well, there's
Violet
Black
Dwarf
Star
system,
system, deep star, deep space, the deepest
slightly deep
space.
space. It says
No, no,
slightly deep
deepest
space.
space, and then Violet Dwarf
Oh,
system is slightly deep, slightly less deep space
oh
or
yeah,
something
yeah,
like
yeah,
that,
yeah.
right? But I think he mentions somebody mentions it's going to be, oh, maybe it was where it was getting shot out of the wormhole or something. So any case, it doesn't matter. We'll talk about it when it comes to it. But any case, slightly deeper space, there is a violet dwarf star, and surrounding that are a bunch of, we'll say, asteroids, rocks, whatever, floating debris that then become encompassed by this green chi, and it kind of glows and it kind of gives off the beginning of an evolutionary track of new creatures and plants and things starting to evolve on like one of the asteroids of this area. So the violet dwarf star is its system star, right? Its system sun. So we then actually get into Futurama. We have a brand new intro. It's not the intro that we know from Futurama. It's a on Mars Vegas, which I believe we have. Have we seen in the series? I'm starting to get blank now.
Not
I don't
not up
think
not
so,
not up to
right?
current. Not up to
No,
current. No,
you're
we
right.
do see it in the
In
Comedy
Comedy
Central
Central
one
run,
with
Zoidberg and he steals the money, right?
yeah,
Yeah,
Zoidberg becomes invisible because he's like,
his
oh
ink and the
yeah.
right
Oh, yeah, if
and the
you
ink
when you watch
remover,
yourself, it'll be gone. So I'll be invisible forever.
right?
Darn.
Even though he was in a bathtub,
No. Amy was in the bathtub. He was using the
but
toilet.
he was in the tub with her because he was eating the cakes. Yeah.
You know what? Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Anyway,
we'll,
it
we'll,
doesn't
we'll have
matter.
to get to that when we get to
Well, we
the.
get to that one. So, any case, brand new intro of Futurama, and yeah, they're the main characters. We see some of the main characters. They're on a roller coaster because Mars Vegas, of course, is an entertainment place, right? Like very much like Las Vegas. And
Yeah,
there's an intro
except with the word
song,
Mars in front of it.
right? There's an intro song
Mars.
sung by Seth MacFarlane, who is
Yeah,
also a friend of Matt Groening, and of course, he's the creator of Family Guy, American Dad, Cleveland Show, Orville. You know, a bunch of shows in the past, a couple of
a couple
films.
good ones. Yeah,
Some of them
Ted.
okay, some of
Yeah,
them better than others for sure. Yeah,
I
Ted.
want to get into actually the Ted series because some of it looks funny from what I've seen on YouTube, but also he did
I've
2 movies.
yeah, I've seen enough clips of it that it looks okay, but they say it's a prequel to the show, so I'm just like, or a prequel to the movie rather, and I'm just like, I don't see this kid becoming Mark Wahlberg. I just don't see it.
No, God, no, no. He's like 25 now. It looks nothing like him,
Yeah.
and like that's fine.
So
But
I think it's like
yeah,
in their own little head space or whatever, right? But in any case, so yeah, he sings this nice song. It's kind of this old like Sinatra one or whatever because it's taking place in this retro futuristic lifestyle and everything. But in any case, we get through it, and of course, it's into the wild green yonder. Now, of course, as due for our films, Mitchell, remind the audience what is the caption for this one. It's like it's written
well,
in
it's in
alienese,
alienese, so
and
I
what
don't
is it?
know. But the people who translate it say the humans shall not defeat us, which doesn't feel like this is the right one. It should be the second movie if we were gonna pick
Yeah,
where it should go.
that's true. It feels like a little strange for that, but it's. I guess humans shall not defeat us in terms of like the show. So right, because it was getting
Yeah, yeah.
canceled again, kind of thing, because of the films. But
Oh, was that the case though? Like, did people like because media back then for this kind of thing wasn't the same as it is now, where like we know everyone and their toes or whatever,
mhm.
and like this is kind of before the height of Twitter, we'll say. So it's not
Oh,
like
well before,
Matt
yeah,
Groening would be like, "Hey guys, this is our last movie. Thank you so
yeah,
much," kind of
no,
thing.
no, no,
I
no,
don't remember
none,
that being a thing.
no, no. They would have marketed this through the old-fashioned way, through regular television commercials, and the odd
Newspaper,
poster or something. Yeah, newspapers. Yeah,
not newspaper. Newspaper was already kind of dead at this point, but
okay, like even articles maybe online if people were looking for it, right? Forums and
yeah,
such like
yeah,
that, right?
yeah.
But yeah, it's crazy. But in any case, yeah. So we get into the episode, and it turns out that Mars Vegas, which we learn, is owned by Amy's family, Leo and Inez Wong, mostly Leo, but they are demolishing old Mars Vegas, and they're going to create a brand new Mars Vegas in the same exact spot for one reason or another. He says it's too old or whatever, so he destroys it. So we have our characters all watching from a distance, and they're all like, "Yeah, let's blow it up," and all this stuff. And so of course they blow it up, and beautiful, spectacular thing. And Leo is going to get set up on establishing the construction of the new Mars, right? Of the new Mars Vegas. Now, I want to bring up one thing before we continue with this because he is the main villain of this, like of the whole movie. Of course, we have the other main villain, but this one is particular. Leo Wong, played by his actual voice actor Billy West, is so much better than who they have now. Like it reinforced it listening to this episode. Like I can hear all the things that made this Leo Wong so much better than the next one. The next one is so boring. This one actually feels evil. He feels like a bad guy, and he's like such a prick that I just enjoy. I enjoy it. I enjoy listening to him speak and say the things that he does because it's hilarious.
Yeah, he was the then in the day it's like current rich white person, but in this case he was Asian.
Right.
So like yeah, it's like any movie that I've seen now, the bad guy is always some rich white guy
Hmm.
for whatever reason,
With an
and that's
accent.
what Leo Wong is now, right? That's what Leo Wong is in this movie, and it worked so much better than like any rich white guy should feel bad. It's like no,
Yeah,
this Leo Wong's an asshole. It's not because he's rich or anything like that. It's not because he's Asian. It's
he's
just
just
he's an
an
asshole.
asshole. Yeah, he's just a
Yeah,
bad guy. And it's funny actually because you mentioned that because he is doing all the typical like rich person things that of course like in the past the Asian population wouldn't have been doing. Like he and Inez come from like a long like they ride on a coach ride, like a little horse coach, and then they come back from a play and they're and he's always wearing a cowboy hat and all this stuff. Like it's not the typical thing, right? He's like an oil tycoon, but he's Chinese. So yeah, it's funny. But any case,
And then but he
yeah,
was played by a white guy, so therefore that can't be right.
yeah,
Something wrong is gonna be with this.
the greatest voice act, one of the greatest voice actors of all time, and no, even he's not allowed to. So, any case, we get to see the construction of it, and due to the fact that Leo Wong, of course, has Amy, like his daughter, and she works with all these people, as well as a couple of other things, but they're all there to oversee or at least see what is going on with how Leo, is doing the construction. Now, the main thing we're going to take away from this, I won't go into all the detail, but the main things that are set up in this scene, which is why I think it's pretty good, is that A, Leo Wong cares nothing for the environment, and he wants just to make whatever he wants, whatever he wants. Two, we have the eco feminists who are
Shut up and
exactly
hear our
what you,
wisdom. Save the ecosystem.
system, right? They
God,
are
I love it.
exactly what you think they are, and as true to form, they should be made fun of for how ridiculous they sound and how ridiculous their point doesn't get across.
I didn't mean for our protest to have any effect. Love that line so
Me
much.
too. I also love a woman splayed your man formation. But any
She
case,
was awful. She was
she's the
so
worst. I love it. So, any case, ecofeminism, and the person, of course, we're quoting is another woman named Frida Waterfall, yet another waterfall who makes an appearance in this, and she is now. We kind of learned this last time, right? Or at least we kind of jogged our memories for it. All the waterfalls are played by the same actor, right? Who did
Phil Hendry.
Phil Hendry, right?
Yeah, he was basically very well known for having like a radio show some time ago where he would do
Mhm.
different voices. He basically would call himself and act as two different people to
Right, and it
be
works out very
entertained.
well because he can play all these different voices, right? So he has been
Yeah,
all of them. He has played Waterfall
every
Senior.
waterfall.
He's played Old Man Waterfall. He's played everything, right?
Yeah,
So,
junior, senior, old man, Frida, Hutch,
mhm.
Bliss and Grewstock's son. Those are from the new
Those
ones.
are the new ones, exactly. Yes. So
And Grewstick, yeah.
yeah. So we have
Go on.
all these
There's a lot.
people, right? So these are the waterfalls. So he's back and playing Frida Waterfall. Now the third thing in this, of course, is that the professor is corruptible, and he's easily corruptible with obviously lots of money. Don't know why exactly, because he's never really shown this side of it. I mean, he's always taken jobs, I suppose, because he has his planet, his delivery company. But he's always done that because he wanted to, go through with science. He's never really thrown science to the wayside. But I guess he does kind of repent, we'll say, in
Well,
the
science
in
has never
this.
proven that life is actual,
Science has
good.
never proven that life is worth living or whatever,
Yeah, so I can't remember
or
the quote, but
valuable.
yeah,
Some of this,
yeah,
yeah,
there you go, yeah.
which is of course against everything the professor actually stands for. But it is funny to hear it. So, in any case, the eco-feminists appear and they're chanting away and saying like, hey, you're not supposed to be doing this, all this stuff. And Leo Wong doesn't care about human life whatsoever, so he blows them. He uses some kind of dynamite and just blows them up. He doesn't kill them, but he just blows them up. And Frida Waterfall ends up landing on Fry. Now she has this weird necklace thing. We never get an explanation as to what this thing is, but for whatever
Femin
reason,
necklace.
her femme necklace, yeah, it's some weird crest or whatever, but it's pointy enough that
Well,
it's.
it's the female symbol and that gets lodged
Is
in
that all it is?
Fry's
I thought it
hand.
was.
I
I think
think
there's
so.
something else about it, but okay. Any case, it lodges into Fry's head. Okay, under his hair, which is kind of a weird animation thing they do in the movie. But
Yeah.
it's lodged into his head, and because his hair is over it, and he never thinks to check, it covers over, and he is, he's something has happened to Fry, which
Oh,
we'll talk about.
okay. Sorry, so
No,
I just went to that little scene there where she's like, where we first see Frida Waterfall, and an animation thing they're doing. They put a little glimmer effect on it, like every second or two, just so that way
oh,
your
just
eyes go to
to
it.
pick up on it.
Just notice this right now after watching this thing like 100 times.
Sure, sure. That's
So,
interesting. Yeah, it's
mm.
funny what you notice when you're actually looking for detail, right? So, in any case, Fry gets knocked out, and Leo Wong is a little afraid that he'll sue, so he offers Fry a token. This will come back later. A token to a free entry into a future poker tournament that will happen in the New Vegas once it's built. So, last thing of this scene, which kind of sets it up. Leela, who's always been, this is true to character, she's always been somebody who, and this is what really pisses me off about that one episode in the Hulu run. But in any case, something that Leela has always kicked, this is what I'm talking about. This is why that Hulu run was so bad at the beginning, very much so. But Leela cares a lot about the environment. She cares a lot about animals and creatures and all these things. So she says to Leo, like, you can't just demolish everything. You need to have a conservation expert and go through and make sure it's all taken care of and make sure it's safe for you to do this with, so you don't destroy any animals or their habitats. And Leo says he already did, obviously talking about the professor who he's paid off to say, yeah, it's a go ahead, go for it. So they're about to destroy this little mud hole, sinkhole thing or whatever it is, like some whatever you want to call it, just a hole of water in it. And there happens to be a leech in it. Okay. This leech jumps on, and as true to form as leeches do, starts sucking on Leela, and she tries to get it off, and
I do love this little segment.
She keeps feeling bad for it because it's like a little thing. She keeps then it sucks on her. She gets angry, so she keeps beating on it. And she thinks it's dead, and then obviously it keeps on coming back to life, but like sucking on her more. So, in any case,
however, if you do put a concrete slab over them for a parking lot, that kills them.
well, it would suffocate them, right? Because I guess they need the air. But she saved the one. You know what? There may have only have been one in that hole. She didn't see all the rest of them, right? There was just the last one.
It shows a couple, like 4 or 5 things in the hole when you look at it the first time before.
But I doubt it was. Okay, but to devil's advocate, because we know what that thing is, it's definitely not one of the creatures that's in there. It just happened to be in there at the time, which is
maybe
also coincidence, I think. But in any case, yeah, Leo.
I'm looking right now. When Leo pours like the cement on it, there's like 5 in there
of all the same creature.
Yeah, it's same model with the dark skin and stuff like that.
Okay.
Yeah,
So maybe that's why he says that.
It could just be lumps. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
But
who knows? But in any case, Leo has like a paving thing just kind of roll over, and he's like, they're no longer. What does he say? They're no longer endangered. They're extinct or something like that. So Leela has protected this last little leech thing, okay, and she's held on to it because something that goes against her if she does so, or if she doesn't do so. So, I guess we move on then to, because isn't it now Mars Vegas is now built? It kind of takes place in the future of right? Like it kind of jumps ahead a little bit.
It's the future. We'll just say it's the next day because they have fancy ways to build things,
I suppose, and it could have been near the end of it, whatever. But are they playing mini golf at this point?
Well, first we get like Leo Wong to give him the thing, and they're in at least another casino, and we get Fry going talking.
Right, of course, they're in the casino, they're gambling, right, and that's where we get Bender with his,
you're right, Hermes. Zoidberg is lovable but hateable. He's like, what? Right. I didn't say anything.
Right.
This is where we clue in where Fry can hear thoughts.
Exactly. So due to the fact that Fry has had this thing lodged to his head, we don't know why, the Femme necklace pendant, Fry can now start to hear other people's thoughts. And he's reading minds, and he doesn't quite understand what it is at the time because Fry's an idiot. But he takes some time. He leaves the group because he can't take it anymore. He can't hear all these people because he doesn't know who's talking to him and who's just thinking. So he runs out, and he ends up running into somebody in the alleyway of this Mars Vegas area, and it turns out to be a guy named Hutch. And we don't know Hutch by any means. He's never been appeared in the show before, but he's here, and he's wearing tinfoil on his head, and he sees Fry like screaming at people to shut up, and he says, "Listen, man, it's okay. You're just reading minds." And he gives him his tinfoil cap, and Fry is now fine. He can concentrate, and he can't hear any more thoughts with the tinfoil hat on. So Hutch gets himself a new one. Okay. And he says, yeah, you're a mind reader. You can do this, and you do this or whatever. And Fry's like, oh, that's kind of cool. And so they have this little think off thing, like they're going to read each other's minds. But due to the effects of what happened in one of my favorite episodes, what Roswell that ends well, Fry does not have a delta brainwave. Therefore, Hutch can't read his mind, which is very surprising to Hutch. And even so much so, he starts thinking about a secret organization, which he then covers up so that Fry doesn't hear about it. But then he says, like, oh, maybe in the future we'll cross paths again. And Fry says, yeah, okay, cool. And then, right, is that when we cut into the mini golf? Is that when we cut into? Oh, because we
go to the
next scene.
Sexy strip show for robots where we meet
right, still the same thing, right? So this is where I always forget, because Bender has a very weird side thing at the beginning of this movie. He does connect into the main plot later, but this whole thing does not appear anywhere else except for like one episode in the future of the Comedy Central run, which does prove that the movies are canon. Right. Indeed canon. Which means
Kind of.
Aigner is indeed his son. Any case.
Well,
Nope, it is. Any
it's
case.
just this one. This one is 100% canon because they even just mentioned, oh right, that's the wormhole we went through. Oh yes, how
in the Comedy
humorous.
Central
Yes,
run,
yes.
like when it begins, they were literally coming out of it. Yeah, exactly. But
So
it
so
shows that
far
the
only
films
this one
are
is canon because
no.
this is the only one that's mentioned.
No. In the first one is also mentioned, and I'm pretty sure there are elements. Oh yeah,
When was the first one mentioned?
the first one's mentioned multiple times because they reference. What is? I've told
Evo.
you this in the Comedy Central one.
Oh
Remember?
right, yeah. When they went to
Terminator
Comic
Bender's
Expo, there's
there.
Evo.
Yeah. What's that?
They went to the Comic Expo in the future with Lur going, Leela, is that you? The one where Lur gets kicked out by his wife.
Yeah,
They go to the expo and like, Matt Groening's here or Joss Whedon's here. I think that was before some issues with Joss Whedon. We saw the costume contest.
Yeah.
Where Bender dressed up as Leela. We saw someone dressed up as Evo.
Oh, okay. So there's that one, which we never talked about before. You just remembered that.
The second movie. That's
the second movie, which shows that. But you could also throw that as to be like a little Easter egg. But I'm talking actual canon events that happen in the movie is in Comedy Central run with the presidential debate, right? The president won. He's from a time where his world was conquered by Terminator Bender, and they used the time code to go back, right?
Time code.
So
far we got the first movie, we got
Yep.
the second movie, but not the third movie so far. There's nothing that mentions the black balls or anything after.
I will say the second movie also has the gargoyle, which does come back again in another episode, and he's out of wishes. So where did that second wish come from? So any case, we'll say for the lack of argument or for the sake of argument, we'll just say like these are canon, but they're loosely based on that. It's kind of funny, but in any case, here we are, at a robot strip show or robot pornographic, like whatever you want to call it, just
burlesque
the sexual
show?
arts of robots things, And Bender's there, and he interrupts this couple's dinner. I don't know why they're having a nice date night in a place like that, but maybe they enjoy it, and maybe they want the feelings.
People are weird.
Yeah. And it turns out that Bender falls like very, very hard for a robot dancer named Fanny. And
I love the introduction to her though, like where she comes into the mist, accompanied by a smooth baritone trombone, Fanny.
And it's
like
Marissa
all like the
Marsh,
mist,
right? Yeah, the mist. Yeah,
the mist gets blown away by the fan that's on her butt.
My favorite scene is Bender's going, and then his like eyes go big, and then the couple that he's with, and then his antenna grows larger, and then she's like, oh.
Yeah, because it's supposed to be
we know it's
not a lewd show. It's supposed to be artistic, but like, come on.
Like he's just getting all the ideas. So then we get to cut to Bender going down to see Fanny personally. He's bringing
come
her
on,
flowers.
baby, let's do it. My name's Bender.
And
she immediately just starts making out with him, and then
she's okay with it.
Who's this? The feds?
Yeah, she's totally into it. And then it turns out that her husband, the Dawnbot, is in there with her. So she's married and to one of the most powerful robots in the whole thing, and who Bender has worked for multiple times. And
at least
he knows
twice at this point.
Yeah. So in any case, he says, well, nice to see you, Bender. And basically, it shows that the Dawnbot is just kind of dumb when it comes to his family, right? Because he does this even in kind of in the Comedy Central run as well, but he's just dumb when it comes to his wife. So she's clearly like making out with Bender and everything. And then he's using the washroom. He comes back. He's like, here, you can take my wife home and you can, it's a self-driving car. So sit in the back and do whatever. Like, okay, perfect. So, any case, Bender spends the first portion of this film basically getting around with the Dawnbot's wife to a point where he is making up feeble excuses that even Clamps and Johnny Mousepad can pick up on, but the Dawnbot's just not doing it. So we then cut to them. I think they're having dinner, and
this is where like the Dawnbot sees kind of Fanny making out with him, but then Bender pretends to be in a portal, comes out of
but they're having
chest.
dinner, right? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So Fry has his hat, and Leela has the leech in her neck, and everybody else is more so focused on what
this is where Fry. And actually, there is a quote here. It's just like where Amy's like, "Is Bender crazy in this one?" And then this is where Bender goes, "No, Fry's the crazy one in this one."
It's like, are you
Which
crazy,
I'm like, is that
Bender?
a joke?
It
about
is.
the
It is.
movie,
It
but
absolutely is.
yeah.
Because the previous one, Bender went crazy.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly. Yeah,
Yeah.
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 So this is where Fry enters the poker tournament, which he says, "Oh yeah, poker tournament with my mind reading skills and my invisibility." Wait, no,
Wait.
and then he goes
Sure.
to the
Hold on,
guys
hold on. You're right.
saying like,
Yeah. So Fanny and he, right. That's right. So Fanny and Bender are making out. Then the Donbot walks in. He makes a feeble excuse. All that stuff. Right. Right. And then because Bender believes that he's super lucky, he's going to
"Yep,
enter the poker tournament that Leo Wong had given Fry a free token for, and Fry has also figured out that with mind reading, I can't excuse me, I can't look into women's washrooms,
I do
but
like that little joke." Yeah,
that was a good joke. But I can use it to figure out what people's cards are, and I can win in this tournament. So he and they don't tell each other, obviously. So Fry has
no,
used his because he's an idiot. He's used his life savings and the poker chip for free entry, which the guy just pockets. I like that joke too.
he did.
And Bender, because he believes he's super lucky, he decides to enter as well. And once he wins the $1,000,000, he and Fanny will run off together or whatever. So little joke about luck and everything. I do like the whole thing with the shoes and like all the
Oh yeah,
luckiest
yeah.
race
I'm
horses. And
40% luck. I got the horseshoes from those horses.
they
They
got
don't
sent to
sound
the
so
glue
lucky.
factory. Yeah, they don't sound so
Yeah,
lucky to me. Not without their shoes. And he's
it's
like,
a
oh
good
yeah.
joke.
And I stepped on a leprechaun. And then she also, Fanny also gives Bender the Donbot's like left foot. Apparently it's lucky. So he's
Yeah.
like he's more than 100% luck. So he's like, I can't lose now.
Yeah, I do love that. I don't believe my wife would do that, even though I found a hacksaw underneath her pillow. I don't
My
think it's
foot
her.
was missing today. Yeah. I also love their so this is of course the Donbot talking with his guys, and they're in easy laundering laundromat or something, or easy laundromat or something, and or easy money laundromat or something. And I just love the name. I think it's such a clever name for it. But yes, so the Donbot still, if Bender, he says if Bender wins, then it proves that he's sleeping with Fanny, because through some way of luck and everything, he must have this, and this, which leads to her. So we're at the poker tournament, hosted by
Penn and Teller.
Penn and Teller, but it's mostly just Teller, I guess, right? Because Penn is
Well, yeah, Penn actually gets voice credit for being himself, which his character is to be quiet the entire time.
yeah,
In their shows, when Penn and Teller do their magic shows, like
yeah. Teller's
he's always
always
quiet.
telling, right? Yeah,
Yeah,
right. And Penn is
yeah.
not. Yeah. So Penn is basically dead in his jar. Teller is the one commenting on the actual poker tournament. But yeah, we get like a nice little, some celebrities and some people we've recognized, others we don't. So Lur is in there.
And I think one of my favorite lines from the movie, it's funny but sexist but funny. And
Oh yeah, the
yeah,
good pair. Yeah,
this
sure.
girl pulls out with two eights, and Boobs Vanderbilt has a decent pair. Also, she has two
Two
eights.
eights. Yeah,
I do love that little
that's a
joke.
great
It's like,
line.
oh,
I
that's
laugh at it
good.
too. Yep.
Yeah.
And then yeah, Bender's like, oh, Bender with like pocket rockets, like right off the bat, like two aces, and then Fry's like reads his
Everyone over.
mind, right? So I should say as well. So Bender and Fry realize that they're in the same tournament. Bender doesn't care whatsoever because he believes he's going to win with all the luck. Fry, on the other hand, is like, yo. Like it's unfair to you. You should like get your money out while you still can. And Bender won't have it. And he consults him, and so Fry's like, okay, I'm gonna take you over. I think he even says like, bite my shiny metal cap or something. Like he uses his
Oh
line
yeah, Fry says that to him. Yeah.
because he still has his tinfoil hat, right? Which he's turned into like a visor hat, which I kind of like because he's playing cards. So that's kind of cool.
Poker. Yeah.
So, any case, Bender or Fry
We
uses
go through
his
a little montage here. Yeah.
like Fry uses his he pulls off his hat and he uses his mind reading skills in order to read people's minds, and we get like him and Bender basically funneling through all the different characters who are slowly losing. Two of them die, including Boobs Vanderbilt, because of the cards from above. Like there's this
21 winner.
what? Yeah, the roofing or whatever, the ceiling decorations come down and kill them because of the luck. Oh god. So, any case, in
I
the
also
end,
love Lurs in this too, right?
Lurs in
He's
there
like,
was
"Call
my
my
turn.
bluff," and then Fry lifts his hat to read. He's like, "My cards are terrible, and I could use a hug." And he calls him on his bluff, and Lur doesn't like that. But then he hugs him. He's like, "I just
Just
wanted
wanted
my
my
daddy
dad.
to be proud of me." And then we
Well,
go
you
up to
did
like
it.
Lur's
Yeah,
dad. Get out of my house.
yeah. Which is funny. So I guess like Lur is not actually ruler of the Omicron Persei his dad still is. I don't know.
Well,
It's kind of a
if I
weird
don't know
joke.
if it's an appointed thing or if it's a thing, but kings
Mhm.
can step down and the princess can become the
Oh,
new king.
totally. But I mean, it's like, why did he say, "Get out of my house"? Does he not own that castle?
It's
So
just
no, I
something
don't
that
know. Yeah,
disappointed parents would say to their kids.
I guess so. So, any case, comes down to Fry and Bender, and the last cards played. Fry has he has two aces, doesn't he? And yes,
I
he
don't
does. He has two
remember.
aces. No, I do remember this. So it's
Yeah, yeah.
basically almost like a royal flush, almost at this point. Not a royal flush, sorry, a straight, a
Well,
perfect straight. So there are. Do you play much cards, Mitchell? Do you know what I'm talking about?
no, no,
No.
I've never been into poker gambling.
So when you have four of the same card all in your hand, or if you have it like connected with the table in front, and the
Yeah, like one,
higher the
two, three,
cards are for
four.
that, yeah. So the higher the cards are, the better your hand is typically. Okay. So in this, Fry has two aces, and on the table are three kings and two aces. So in any other hand, Fry would have been like, this is like the perfect hand to win because the only thing that Bender could do that's better is like a straight. But even then, he couldn't do it with the cards that are on the
No,
table.
yeah.
So Fry's like, okay, all in because Bender won't look at his cards. He's like, I'm going to rely on my luck. So Fry's like, okay, or Bender says all in. Fry like calls it. He's like, okay, I can beat him. So he got aces. He's like, yes. But then it turns out Bender got dealt a coaster, which is called the King of Beers, which then places him five different kings on the table, and apparently it quote unquote counts.
Still
So
illegal.
still legal apparently. So Bender wins. He wins the money. Fry loses everything. And the Dawnbot then realizes that Bender is sleeping with his wife and stole his land. And his foot comes back because he threw his foot back, hits him in the face, and he says, now I'm suspicious. So, in any case, we cut to a scene where the Dawnbot and his goons are going to kill Franny and Bender, or at least give him a warning and dig their own graves or everything, which he does. So, we cut back, or we cut to, rather, that's the end of that little arc within it. That's all we ever see of the rest of the robot mafia. It's a very small thing with Bender. And then we have Fry and the group looking for Bender, and they appear and say goodbye to Fanny, and that's basically it. So now we cut to the actual main form of the episode. So Leo Wong has been he's really really into mini golf, right?
Yep,
And his mini golf, the only
we're there now.
as he's thank you as he states, the only thing he hates about mini golf is how mini it is.
How
he,
damn miniature it is.
he wants it to be massive. He wants it to be like the size of a galaxy. Hence his whole thing with demolishing certain things. Now, um, with that, Leo Wong is also again, this is what makes him such a bad guy and such a good villain, is that he's a huge sexist. So he believes that only like men should be on his mini golf course, and only men can make certain shots that women just have no ability to do. Despite the fact that Amy, who was like wanted to impress her dad when she was a kid, she even joined a mini golf thing and became like one of the all-star mini golf athletes at the time. So Leo Wong states that his plans are basically to demolish a portion of the Milky Way galaxy, and then he's going to construct an 18 putting golf, like miniature golf course throughout the galaxy. Basically, you shoot a cannon of a ball across space, and then it has to land in like another area, and you just have like a telescope to see where you're going. Okay, so that's basically what it is there. Now, the I'll also skip ahead a little bit but the main conflict here is that again does not care what damage he's going to do to any life forms or ecosystems or anything if he demolishes it to make this mini golf, including Violet Dwarf Star system. So Leela, who's with the professor because he's been hired by Leo to do the conservation testing and everything because he's super corruptible at this time, states like, oh, we can't do it because there's life there. But the professor says he doesn't care because he's getting a whole bunch of money from Leo Wong, so he approves for demolition. Leela then decides to join the eco-feminists, and she becomes like their quote unquote den mother, and apparently she's a lot better at organizing things, whereas Frida Waterfall is in she writes their propaganda.
And sucks at it.
And sucks at it, which is why she has horrible rhymes and all this kind of stuff. All right, and then where are we going from here, Mitchell? This is after. So after the mini golf, what do we get?
Well, so Leela joins the feministas or whatever the hell their names are,
Yeah,
and so they go
eco-feministas,
and try and crash one of the parties. They're all got like pink on with a pink mask on, like
yeah.
whatever.
To kind of
And
cover whatever
Nixon's
identity
there
they have.
with the
Yep.
headless torso of
Of Agnew, right? Yeah.
Agnew with
Mm.
Leo Wong, and they're
Mm-hmm.
talking about it. And of course, like Leo's like, you should get Agnew to go take him on. It's like, yeah, I'd like to see that too. Sick of Agnew. And so the girl's like, oh, and they kind of back up and they hit one of their hover carts,
Yep.
and the hover cart goes and crushes
Slowly crushes
Agnew.
the Agnew. Right. So they're kind of
And
wanted for murder at this point because he's the vice president. Right.
even though it was 100% an accident.
Sure.
And so yeah, so the headless body of Agnew dies.
Yep.
And
And he's not.
so
Oh, there's another continuity thing. He's not seen in the future of the show either.
isn't there a clone of him?
There might
Oh, it
be a
doesn't
clone,
matter.
which they might reference, but yeah, but he's gone too, right?
So then
So
Nixon addresses the nation as every president does and goes, yes,
these
we're going to get these
eco-feminists, yeah.
eco-feminists and they're going to spend 6 weeks in jail for their crime of killing a headless vice president.
Yeah,
So, and then Bender gets mad about that. He's like, hey, I've been trying to actually kill humans all these time and Leela does something about it.
Right.
And so he's worried about his rap sheet being lesser than Leela.
Correct. His reputation and everything as a criminal, right? So he wants to help. So this is where Bender's playing the side of helping Nixon and Leo Wong because he knows
Amy's weakness.
he
Sorry,
knows,
Leela's weakness.
he knows Leela a lot better, right? Now, before we get to that, though, isn't there also this is where Fry is reintroduced to Hutch, right? Because he's on Earth, and he sees him in like the alleyway or something, right? Because they have like this whole
Little small segment, just basically like Leela and the other eco-feminists, they kind of go and run away. They also destroy another thing of Leo Wong's. His like Leo Wong doesn't like the rings
Kevlar
around
belt
Saturn.
or whatever. Yeah.
So he's like, I've tried blasting out, sending them out. So so they sabotage an exhaust vent in space with a organic potato. Right. And then Leela's like, sugar. Well, now that we've done this, we need a mascot. So this is where they get
right.
So leech.
Leela goes to right. So she
Planet
goes back
Express.
to Planet Express.
Zoidberg was about to eat it.
Right.
Oh no, saving the leech, not eating the leech. Zoidberg, I'm slightly surprised at you.
He like licks his lips.
Yeah. And as she leaves, Fry's there. And this is one of the kind of heartfelt moments. It's like, oh, no worries, Leela. I know you got to do this because you're you. And she's like, oh, thank you, kind of thing.
Right. Fry understands who she is right off the bat, right? Yeah.
And then she leaves. And then that's when Hutch comes and
goes, Hey, Fry. Right. And it's like, hey, Hutch and everything. And we still just know Hutch from, as Hutch. So thank you. So Fry and Hutch start talking about one thing or another, and Hutch knocks Fry out. Okay. So we have Fry, waking up with a bunch of other people surrounding him and these tinfoil hats. Okay. They're all wearing tinfoil hats, and they are known as the Organization of Mad Fellows or Society of Mad Fellows, something of the sort. Now, this is interesting as well. If you're an eagle-eyed viewer of the Futurama series throughout the first season, maybe the first few seasons.
First and second, according to the Infosphere.
Infosphere, wonderful. If you were paying attention, you may have noticed there was some old guy in the background wearing a shirt with a number 9 on it. It turns out this character, who's here, he's just known as number 9 guy or the number 9 man or whatever, is actually an important leader of this particular type of group of people. So he is, I think he's also played by David Herman. He is in charge of one of the greatest secrets ever to come to the universe. Okay. So he explains.
Fun fact. If I can interrupt you here. Fun fact.
Yeah.
So he actually was an idea for an old storyline where supposed to represent a fictional caste system where people would have like their number on the thing.
Sure.
Like that one episode in Community with Meow Meow Beans.
Yeah, the Meow Meow Beans. Yeah.
Sure. 5s were the highest and so like that and stuff like that. Right. However, it said it was abandoned. And then when he got a speaking role in this movie, they're like, yeah, he's not going to be the leader of the small hidden society.
And there you go. Makes sense.
I still like that idea of the rating system because I have a feeling that that's going to happen-ish in our future.
We'll see.
In real life.
I think it'll rebel. People will rebel against it.
Oh, 100%. Ones rebel with everyone.
Yeah.
You have mustard on your face. And I couldn't stop looking and listening at you. So I had to listen.
All right. That's a good episode, actually. So, any case, the number 9 guy starts telling Fry about the history of what their big secret is. And he explains in the cosmos. And I like how he uses like lower what's that called? Lower affecting words or whatever. Like they're not very well esteemed or very intellectual.
Hey man, what's up, dude? Look at our commune.
So there's like some junk and stuff, crap. And Fry calls him out. Like even for Fry, it's too dumb.
Hey man, I can't take you seriously when you use words like grok and crunk and dude and stuff. Like, okay, eons ago.
Yeah. So like a really long time ago, more eons ago. There you go. That's perfect. So number 9 guy,
nice.
More elegantly,
people like me,
the
viewer interested. I do love it.
Yeah,
it's sad how that was 2009, and it's even more of an issue now.
Yeah, there's a lot of meta jokes actually I find in this movie. But here we go. Number 9 is explaining like the idea of the cosmic chi that would go across and basically instigate that of evolution across the universe, and people who knew this whole thing was coming were considered mad people, or sometimes they were prophets, but they were all known as like, the Society of Mad Fellows, which is what they are the descendants of, basically, this group of people. Now, the main thing that he discusses, or what he mentions, is that there are two creatures that have existed through evolution throughout time, and he shows this little video of the snakes and the frogs and these like little alien creatures. And basically, at first, they were cooperating to get food and they would share it. But as time went on, one had the idea to eat the other one, which gave him more food and all this stuff. And so there was this evolutionary arms race, as he calls it.
I like that.
I do too.
Evolutionary arms race.
Yeah, I love it too. So we see this idea that these two creatures are starting to evolve basically to counteract each other. And they got so perfect at counteracting each other, they basically became perfect species in their own right. One of them, which they calls the encyclopods, were there to be, the greatest creatures of all time, preserve animal DNA for extinct creatures, preserve evolutionary tracks, all this stuff. They were just the ones to be like the ideal creature. They evolved to be good. The other one, however, the dark ones, had evolved into they evolved into becoming the antithesis of it. Basically the creatures that would, eat everything, destroy everything until there was nothing left. Okay. So they were polar opposites in the evolutionary chain. Now, the thing with what they figured out is that the dark ones can read minds, right? So that's why they wear their tinfoil hats, so people cannot read their minds. However, what they need Fry for, which is why Hutch brought him here, because he figured out last time, and one of my favorite lines is that Fry, due to the fact that he has no delta brainwave, his mind also can't be read, therefore giving him an edge over the Dark One, because the Dark One can't figure out the plan that they might all come up with to try and defeat him. So he is another very important person, he's like the most important person in the universe, which he gets a lot.
Yeah, I get that a lot.
Which
I think at this point, what is it? It's just been twice so far?
Yes.
There's like the original Nibbler one, which is why he got sent to the future.
Correct, yep. And then, of course, I suppose you could say the second one with the brains as well, because that's the thing that actually saves the future, right? Because he sends himself back in time to be
the big brain is winning again, leaving Earth for no reason.
Yep.
And then the one with Putty Junior or whatever.
Putty Junior, yeah, Putty Senior,
where he goes and blows himself up.
So basically, the second one was there in order to make sure Fry was there to be there for the first one.
In a way, yeah.
With the brains.
Time travel can get a little confusing, and Futurama is not impervious to it.
No, and there's some things that you have to like double check, right? But most of the time that makes sense. And then, of course, you have this one, which is just kind of a coincidence. Fry doesn't have the delta brainwave, and Hutch happened to see him, right? But there is a little bit of a fun little, determinism in this regard, right? Because there's some differences. Any case, so they make their claim and their argument, and Fry is therefore put into. He wants to help, so he's put into the plan that he has to infiltrate Leo Wang, who coincidentally he also already knows. So it works out in their favor. So
I know who that is. It's Leo Wang.
Yeah, I work with his daughter.
Perfect.
Like, that'll save about 15 minutes of explanation. So I'm curious what his explanation would have been for that. But in any case, Fry basically just has to endear himself to Leo Wang, make himself as close to possible, because Leo Wang is probably going to be the one, because he's building that golf course, he's going to be the one to destroy the Violet Dwarf star. Okay. And they are certain that that is what the Dark One is trying to do. So we skip ahead a little bit. Fry goes to Leo Wang and he says, listen, I can get a job or whatever. And Leo Wang at first says, nah. But then, because Fry can read his mind, he basically figures out what Leo wants. And so he offers to help him. And he becomes a security guard. Okay. So Fry becomes a security guard to Leo Wang. He's in his good graces. And Bender, who knows Leela's weakness, this dates this show so well. Bender finds Fry and he sees that, oh, hey, you're can I borrow your cell phone telephone? and Fry, who has by the way, a flip phone from 30 years ago.
This is 2009. Yeah, smartphones were just being introduced here.
He says, and he even says, like, I've got a Tetris game going. So he's living way, way, way in the past. So anyway, Bender takes his phone, and off-site, like off the screen or whatever, Bender's like quote unquote borrowing the phone, and Leo and Amy show up, and Amy states that, like, or calls out Fry, like, how can you be doing this to Leela? Like, you're supposed to be her friend, and Fry can't tell her, because if he tells anyone, which is what the Mad Fellows told him, if he tells anybody he's on this mission, the Dark One will be able to read their minds, and then he'll know what's going on. So he has to keep it a secret. So he says it's a tight rope to walk, but I'm here to help your dad. Maybe we can do it as well as we can. And Amy gets pissed off because Leo keeps on calling her fat and referring to her as being a fat child. So Amy says, "Okay, screw this, and you can have Fry as a son because you've lost me as a daughter or whatever." And so she leaves and storms off. So
now, to be fair, Mr. Wong, Amy's butt is pretty hot.
Yeah.
What is with you men about my butt? Because it's so big and huge.
Yeah. It's like, what's wrong with big butt? Oh, she's just hungry. So Bender returns Fry's phone with like this obvious contraption designed on it that is clearly a wiretap, which Nixon approved, by the way.
20 years.
Yeah. Nixon approved 6, but Bender only needed the 1, right? But in any case, Fry now is bugged. Okay, so Bender just has to wait for he or Leela to make the call to each other. Then they can figure out where Leela is. And Amy ends up joining Leela.
A lot of people
to go against. Yeah, basically all the main women in the show, right? Yeah. So, okay, you take over. What's next?
Well, they basically kind of send what is this channel with Morbo and Linda? They send them like a video saying like, hey, we don't like Leo Wang, but we got ourselves a mascot, a leech. And speaking of leeches, like Leo Wang, we tend to get rid of him again.
Okay, hold on. So you're talking about Leela and the ecofeminists are on the news delivering a message, correct? Not Linda and Linda and Morbo, correct?
They were, Linda and Morbo were watching the message from
on their show because they're showing the news, right? Yeah. Right.
And so apparently she gets through a couple people like Linda. She doesn't like Morbo because he gets more money than her, which, whatever.
Feminists unite. Yeah.
Yeah. So more people join. And then I guess Nixon gets a little more agitated by this. So then he gets the dupe leader.
Yeah. Zap Brannigan. Or Leo does, right? Leo gets agitated by this and he asks Nixon for help. And Nixon laughs at his face and then says like, no, don't worry, Leo. You're my biggest contributor. I'll help you and I'll send in like the full force of the army or whatever.
Yeah, and I do love the line from Zap Brannigan saying, "We're like, yes, after studying the dossiers for hours upon hours."
And he doesn't know who they are.
Yeah, I don't know who they are.
He's like looking at a cover with Leela. He's like, I like staring at their dossiers for hours and hours. So, in any case, now the planet military, which here we go. This is confirmed now. So this is why Dupe doesn't help out with interplanetary events that are not controlled by Zap Brannigan, because he's technically for Earth, right? Not necessarily just dupe. He works for Earth, and specifically Nixon, because Nixon's the president of Earth. They are, I think, are they being tracked now, right? They're supposed to be sent out to find. Oh, they need to keep the feministas out. Is that before or after? Or is that before, actually? Hold on. I'm getting lost track.
There's a lot of little bits of this movie.
A lot of little bits. Yeah. So, okay, you know what? It doesn't really matter what the order is necessarily, as long as they end up in the same thing. But I will say this. So I'll start with Fry. So Fry is security, and he doesn't, because he knows that Amy has gone and joined the feministas. He knows that Amy will probably tell Leela that he's working with her dad, and he'll think the worst of him. So he doesn't want that. So at that particular time, he runs into Frida Waterfall, who happens to be putting a sign up that is actually like the worst sign. It's just...
I have it right here. Do you want to know what it says?
Yes, I do. Go for it.
Save the environment. Will mandate Leo's retirement.
Stop making your message so ineffective, right? Great. So he pleads with Frida Waterfall. Listen, can you tell Leela that her goofball, doesn't use his name, her goofball is trying to help, but he can't tell her anymore. And Frida says, okay, I'll woman-splain your man-formation, or whatever she said. And he says,
it's so bad. It's so bad.
He's like, oh, just tell her. So that's the first part. Second thing is that because Leo needs to protect the last little bit of his information, or like his demolition from the feministas, because they've been doing a lot of stuff. He calls up the professor, who's about to say that his organization, like Planet Express, is now out of business again, because both Bender, or all of Bender, Fry, and Leela are now gone. So the delivery crew is gone, and Amy. So he's about to say, like, oh yeah, everybody's fired, we're going out of business. But then Leo calls and says, no, we need you to deliver fencing so that I can protect it from the feministas. So he pays them a whole bunch of money, and basically the professor, Hermes, and Zoidberg, and Scruffy, all
the janitor.
Although I don't think he's there at the beginning, because he's not in the cage, but the three of them become like the new crew, and they are the ones that deliver the fencing to where Leo needs it to go. But during said time, they are hijacked by Leela and the feministas, who are now, of course, joined by Linda, Amy, and La Barbara. So Hermes' wife. So she shows up in this movie too, which is fun. And they commandeer, or womandeer, the Planet Express ship. The puns are horrible.
Well, you know what the thing is? I feel like those are used in real life. I'm sure I've heard someone say something about like woman-splain or something.
I think that's where they're pulling from, is some hilarious. Well, you've heard the term mansplain, right? Like that's been used more commonly.
Hold on, let me explain what mansplaining is to people here.
Yeah, especially if you're a woman. So any case, the women commandeer the ship. They paint it pink, because that's the color of their whole thing with ecofeminism. And they put the guys, all into a go-go cage. And another one of my favorite lines, now you know what it's like to be in a go-go cage, to Hermes. And Hermes is like, what the hell are you talking about? Implying that he did not know that La Barbara once spent time in a go-go cage.
Yeah.
Like, I feel dirty. So they get back to their home, their nest, and Leela does make a claim about, Amy rather makes a claim about how Fry is working with her dad, and of course Leela doesn't believe it at the time. Now, cut back, because this is like pretty straightforward, or cut over, I should say. Fry is still working, and another funny little joke here. He says, like, 68, lock the gate.
1, 2, 3, turn the key. 30, 50, 10. Yeah. My dirty shifty friend. And whoever came up with that, line deserves a freaking Oscar for that line there.
That's just a random line of numbers that he's like, huh. So Hutch is back 30, in 50, there.
10.
30, 50, 10. My dirty shifty friend. And Hutch is waiting for him outside the gate.
Hey, man.
So Hutch and Fry chat for a second before Hutch hits him over the head again to hide where he's going to take him. But it's funny because Fry actually wakes up in a place he's been before. We've seen this place before in Where the Bugalo Roam, because the native Martians left, and number 9 guy thought they left like thousands of years ago, and he says, no, it was only a few years ago.
I remember that because they washed my socks.
Okay. And I do like this little continuity thing behind Fry, or like in the background, like on the wall, you can actually see the giant gemstone that they
giant bead,
the giant bean, right? That they traded, or the bead. And there's a picture of Bender and the other crew on there. You can tell, like, with his antenna and everything. So it's kind of a cool little thing if you're paying attention to the background. So last time that we kind of see the group meet like this, and we have number 9 guy telling Fry, like, okay, good, you're getting closer and closer to the end of your mission. The only thing now, what's the last thing he tells him is that you need to remember that the Dark One, the Dark One can read your mind. So whatever you do, you need to think of a plan in order to stop him, but you can't tell us. We're relying on you to come up with a plan. And then Fry says a joke like, "Oh, that was a mistake." The number 9 guy says, like, "Yeah, I see that now." And then he also asks, like, "Okay, the Dark One, what does it look like?" And they're like, "Well, that's the thing with evolutionary, with evolution, it could have evolved into look like anything or anyone or anybody," as Hutch says, or anywhere. And basically, the only thing that Fry can use as a counter to do so is that he can look for someone or something that cannot have their minds read, just like him. So if he can go, and if he can't hear somebody's thoughts, then that person must also be the Dark One. Okay.
It's tough.
Yes. So Fry's like, "Oh my God, I don't want to do this," but he has to stop the Dark One because he knows, or the Society of Mad Fellows definitely know that the Dark One will be there when Leo Wang is going to blow up that dwarf star, because that's exactly what the Dark One would want to do. Now, before all this was happening, I should say this as well, because this is kind of an important feature. In the hideout where the Feministas were, or where they're staying, and while they were gone commandeering the pink, the Planet Express ship and turning it pink, Frida Waterfalls stayed behind, and she was making more signs and stating that, she has to make a mention to Leela to tell her about that guy who she met. And a voice appears in her head telling her, like, asking her, who is this and what is this and all this stuff. And she gets freaked out. And after Frida doesn't know anything about what the Dark One actually wants, he kills her, or it kills her, and leaves her to die, and then makes a joke about her horrible rhymes.
Puns.
Yeah.
I'm dead. Eat natural whole grain bread.
Where are your stupid rhymes now, Frida Waterfall? So then we have the future of what I just mentioned. And so Fry is like, okay, so now I have to do this. So Leela is told by Amy about what Fry's been up to. So she says, okay, I'm sure there's a reasonable explanation. She goes to, like, they have this telephone booth in this cave on Mars for some reason.
And a telephone booth is a old-timey thing where people would use pay phones, and they would step into a little 4x4 feet by,
and they use these little metal things called coins, which they would then put into the slots of the phone, and if you had enough, it could then make a call to another place. But if you were sure than how much you paid for, you could get your change back. Maybe. Just maybe.
I think that ever happened once to me. I was like, "Oh, free change."
Yeah.
Ever since then, it's just like, "No, it's mine now. You paid 5 cents extra. I'm keeping the 5 cents."
Exactly. Now they do that now, but now people are offering it to them. So, any case, in their little booth, Leela sees that Frida Waterfall has been stuffed inside, so she thinks that someone has killed her. Like, it must have been like your dad, or maybe Fry, because Fry's now working for him. It's like, so Leela does exactly what Bender predicted, calls Fry to try and make amends and try and figure out what's going on. Fry answers his bugged phone while he's with the Mad Fellows, and he tells her that he can't tell her why, but he can meet her and try to explain to her that, hey, listen, I can't tell you why, but at least I can show you that I'm a good person still. So, Leela
by the Keeler Crater Mars.
On Mars. Do you know it? It's like, yeah, I think I read about it. It turns out they're like on opposite sides of the cave. So we have Leela showing up and meeting Fry. But of course, Bender is bugged. So the Nimbus shows up and arrests Leela with the rest of the feministas. They try to get away. Fry gets caught by the feministas. They try to get away, but all these hijinks, I'm jumping ahead a little bit, all these hijinks happen. They go through this little hole, and Amy proves that she's really good at mini golf, all this stuff, but alas, the Nimbus catches them, and they're in court. The feministas are in court. And we have a cameo of Snoop Dogg, who's actually one of the chief justices in a previous episode, but he didn't speak. At least he wasn't one of them.
Yeah, he was just a head in a jar.
He was just a head in the jar. So it was kind of like a little Easter egg, like, oh, Snoop Dogg is one of them. But he's actually here, and he's now the head chief one. So the chief justice. So he's dictating everything, and the feministas are on trial. In the end, it's voted 4 to acquit and 5 to release. Or sorry, 5 to acquit and 4 to go sent to prison or whatever it is. Convict. That's the word.
Convict there, yeah.
Convict and acquit. However, due to the fact that women's votes are only half of a man's, it turns out that it doesn't match up with the 4. So the feministas are sent to prison, and this prison is just this pennies a day type of prison that like the warden's super cheap and everything, so it doesn't matter what they're not really going to be harmed. They're encouraged to hurt each other and start fights and all this kind of stuff. And the only thing that the feministas have brought into prison with themselves is the leech. Okay, the leech that Leela had saved beforehand. Right. Go ahead.
Sorry, I'm just going through right now. So they're there in prison, and so Leela's got the plan. She got the leech on her leg, so she's like, we have a way to break out. So she throws the leech at the wall, and they're like, okay, the leech is eating away a hole in the wall. Sweet, we can escape. And it doesn't do anything. It only went in like maybe half a foot.
Halfway, at 3 a.m. it pooped out or something, but it's still hungry enough to suck on Leela and get the blood, right?
So so then the other wall breaks down, and who breaks it down? Bender. And why is Bender saving these lives? Because that way his rap sheet will get bigger by being more
a sizable amount. Yep, he's like, it'll be miles ahead of yours, and no one will ever beat me again. So he's playing the long con the whole time, right? Right now, is that also during the time? So then Fry is talking with Leo, and Leo says, like, I want you to be with me the time that I blow up the purple dwarf star. And when he does so, Leela or Fry's like, oh, okay, you really want to do it? He's like, yep, kaboom, boom, we're gonna do it together, you and me, and all this stuff. And Fry is uneasy about it because, of course, he's trying to protect that star for his secret mission. And then, yes, Bender, goes there, he saves them, or kind of saves them, and they're trying to escape. And I guess like it doesn't work out the first few times. So the last thing they do to get out is, what is it? He bends the wall. He bends a brick wall.
It's not on the list of bendables, but I'm so great, and he bends the wall.
He bends the wall.
I do love it though, because he technically leaves when the feminists leave. It's literally just LaBarbara, Amy, and Leela.
Yeah, they left everybody else behind.
Yeah. They leave Petunia, Linda, Dixie, and Trixie behind.
Yeah, right. So, in any case, they're running away, and should say as well as he got a conscience back. Who should save them but the professor and the Planet Express leftover crew? They go and they rescue the people, the feministas that we just mentioned, the crew itself, from the prison. And the professor and Leela, obviously, they make up and they're like, yeah, like, I'm sorry that I put monetary gain in front of preserving the environment. Like a scientist, I'm a bad scientist. Like, can you forgive me? And Scruffy's there, I reckon. And we have them all there. So the whole crew is on the ship now. Okay. Except obviously Fry, who's with Leela. So
Leo.
Sorry, Leo, not Leela.
Lilo.
All
right, you went Leela, too. Lilo.
Yeah. Leo and Leela.
Leo.
So now we have Fry. Oh, sorry, one more thing. I almost forgot. Didn't know what the Dark One was, and the Mad Fellows gave them the invention, the Omega device, that is there to paralyze the Dark One so that Fry can stop him from doing what he needs to do. Okay, before the encyclopod comes back to life. Okay, that's during the time right before Leela called him. So Fry has this little device that he can use to do so, but he needs to be in very close range to the Dark One in order for it to work. Now, at the blowing up, right, the demolitions thing, we have I don't want to say every character. I want to say nearly every character.
I think it's every.
Yeah, go for it. You know this better than I do.
Every character that had a voice.
Had a voice.
Every character
okay.
that had a line or something like that.
So the legend goes. Right. Okay. So every character that had a voice, that makes more sense because there's like so many characters in the show or so many models. Oh, yeah. And they're all in the background. They're all watching, including Mom, who, makes a small little, voice appearance. Calculon makes a voice appearance, all this stuff. The sons, they don't really speak, but, they're there. Everybody's there. Even like pause, freeze frame it, and you'll get a character from every episode that you've seen, including the water people, all this stuff. Like it's crazy how many Easter eggs in there, including a head of Matt Groening, even though he never actually spoke in the original series, but he's there. So
yeah, I think that'd be one of the few exceptions. Mm-hmm. Yeah, because just even pausing it here, they have the guy that taught Leela how to fight. Basically Leo Wong, but a butt version.
Yeah. So
they got the whale biologist.
The whale biologist.
They got the Queen Slurm Queen.
Yep. Like
there's like almost everyone.
Yeah.
There's a few people I'm like, who the hell are you? But like, I'm sure there's like some actual. If I was to go, okay, those guys look like they're from that guy that came from the 70s or 80s guy. He was probably one of their friends.
Oh, sure.
Like that. Yeah.
Probably in there somewhere, right? So here we are, Fry, Leo, in front of all this stage. Zach Brannigan does a nice lengthy speech to say how great he is and how great he is at blowing things up, or how great it's going to be to see things blowing up and everything. And Leo and Fry are, or I should say, Leo gives Fry the ability to blow up the Dwarf Star. So Fry's running out of time, and he sees that everybody is here. So he takes off he's turned his little thinking, was a tinfoil cap into like a cowboy hat. So he lifts it up and he starts thinking, or starts listening to all the different voices. And we hear, from Calculon, from Mom, from all these people, including Snoop Dogg, like all these people, and they're all just thinking random thoughts. But everyone can be heard. Everyone. So then Fry comes to a realization. I'm the Dark One. My voice, my thoughts can't be read. I'm the only one that can read this. Yeah. And therefore, where am I? I'm right where the Dark One should be. It's me. So Fry has like a small panic attack, and he's like, oh my God, I'm the one that's the evil one. Just as that happens, the Planet Express crew crash into this like dome, because it's like it's a window. They're being able to see the explosion of the Violet Dwarf Star. And Leela runs out and says, like, Fry, how can you do this? He's like, listen, Leela, you don't understand. Like, I have to do this. And they have this little heart-to-heart that they had earlier in the episode, right? When he said to her, it's you. I trust you. And because of you. It's because of you. And so Leela does it for Fry. And she says, you're right. It's because of you. And so as they're about to, do it, Leo rather is about to say like, oh, I'm going to explode it. And anyway, so he's about to do it. And then Amy comes in and whacks him. So Leo's now defeated by Amy. And he states that, oh, you're actually a pretty good mini golfer based on your swing.
You got a good swing. Yeah.
And so Amy takes that to heart. She's like, oh, thanks, Dad. And then hits him again, which I kind of like. So as they're about to like go away from it and everything, like, okay, we've protected it. Everybody's safe. Fry then suddenly hits the detonation, right? Just like a TNT thing. He pushes it down. And they're like, what are you doing? But he's actually rigged it so it connects to the Omega device. And nothing happens. He's like, oh, what the stupid piece of junk and all this stuff. Just nothing happens. But he and Leela are very close together. So then the machine opens up, zoom, right? Scans everything. And we hear, what have you done to me? And it turns out, as everybody should know, because they've clearly seen this movie and we've hinted at this 1,000 times, the Dark One is the Leech. And the Leech itself starts like talking and everything. And
I am the Dark One. I'm the last Dark One.
And it falls to the ground.
I am momentarily disabled.
Right, because that's what the Omega device would do. And because he's momentarily disabled, it gives enough time that the Violet Dwarf Star and that asteroid field that we have seen has been developing all this life come together, kind of like a sperm and an egg, and it quickly evolves and mutates into a embryo and then into an actual creature, which is basically a giant space manta ray that inside
it has like a dome on its belly or back or whatever.
I guess it's back because on its belly it has the things that can absorb the DNA and save it for evolutionary purposes. But yeah, on the back, like it's massive. It's actually really, really cool. Massive manta ray thing. And it has like all these landscapes, like mountains and rivers and like all this stuff that you would want to have for like a habitat, right? For all creatures. And again, as it flies by and everybody can see this, one of my favorite jokes, and it was kind of mentioned beforehand being in a like foreshadowing for it. But there is a creature, because they mention a bunch of extinct creatures that are protected, such as Tasmanian tigers, the dodo. Something that always, like, I remember when I first heard this line, I think I laughed my ass off for close to 5 minutes. And this creature is called the striped biologist taunter. And it's it's an extinct creature. And it's just a creature, looks kind of like a raccoon, that basically says, like, shoot me. Like, what are you gonna do? Shoot me? Like it
has like a target on it.
It has a target as a belly thing, and it's just like it's like, how did this creature become like? Oh, it's so funny. Such a well thought out creature, and basically, like, it taunted the biologists so much that they drove it to extinction. So I thought that was great. So, any case, the what is it called? The encyclopod. Yeah, encyclopod floats in front of everyone. They're all like, "Oh, wow, this is amazing." And it states like, "Thank you for saving me," and all this stuff, and da 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 da. And then he shoots a laser thing.
Well, just before that,
sure, yeah,
Leela's going, what the hell's going on here? Because like,
right, no one knows what was going on. Right?
So then Hutch comes over to explain that. I would have to give you a look. And then that's when the Dark One goes and chokes at his throat
and kills the last waterfall here, right? Because every waterfall has to die, and it turns out that Hutch is the twin sister of Frida, which means
my lost sister's feminine necklace. As he like reaches and pulls it out of Fry's head, which is like only
consoling him. Yeah, that's right.
Hey, how come I can't hear your thoughts anymore? And then Hutch is dead.
Hutch is dead. So we never know why Fry could hear thoughts with this feminine necklace per se, but Hutch is indeed a waterfall, dies at the end of the episode, like all waterfalls, including his sister. And that's when, yes, the encyclopod shoots a laser, kills the Dark One for good. And then somebody, I think Leela says like, oh, maybe you should save it because, you know, you're supposed to protect all species. And he's like, oh, I guess I should. But then Zoidberg eats it. But he does
finally gets to.
Yep. But then he does say that he's going to preserve the DNA of humans. And so he saves the DNA from Hutch Waterfall and keeps it in himself or whatever. And Fry makes a comment about like, I thought you only saved endangered creatures, to which the encyclopod says farewell and floats away in space. And Fry just says, okay, maybe you didn't hear me. And yeah, then we basically have the end of the episode, or end of the movie, I should say. All of them are kind of consoling, but Zap Brannigan's not having any of it because he's supposed to still catch them and put them into prison. So they get into the Planet Express ship, the main crew, along with Kif and LaBarbara, and Scruffy, obviously. And they all fly off into space with the Nimbus in pursuit. And the last thing that they need to do is either continue flying and get caught, or they can go through a wormhole that will lead them somewhere in the universe. They don't know where. And they decide, go for it. And we see Leela and Fry share a kiss, saying that they love each other, and the ship disappears into the wormhole. And that's it. That's the beast, or that's Into the Wild Green Yonder. So yeah, I guess
there's a lot going on in this movie. I would say it's probably the most like consistent, like movie that has the most stuff going on. You have to pay attention. You
do have to pay attention. Yeah, even with the time travel, there's a lot of connecting points, which I think are good. I still think that the first one is still narratively more coherent. Like I think it's a little bit easier to follow in some regard.
So to answer
this one is just
question or the statement that you had, like the whole Bender subplot at the beginning feels weird. It's because of how they produce this movie, right? Because at this point, they were doing like, okay, every movie's 4 episodes, right?
Basically, so the length of 4 episodes.
What was it? Ken Keeler. It was going to be a little shorter, or was it? It wasn't supposed to last as long. The
Oh, so they needed a
casino
subplot.
part.
Oh,
So
okay.
that's why it was so long, because that's why we don't see the Dawn bot or any of that, or any Fanny or any of that stuff after that thing, because that's just for that part 1 of part 4 episode, right?
Right.
Part 1 of 4 episodes.
So when he says like, oh, when she says like, am I going to see you tonight? He's like, oh, probably not.
Yeah, that's why they got cut off right away.
Off. Yeah, okay.
yeah.
That makes sense.
Which works with Bender's personality. So that's right there. It kind of says that, and I kind of, you and I watch these as movies, not episodes.
That's right.
Put together, right?
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. No, that's fair. That's fair. Well, I mean, let's get into the discussion of it. So obviously, no special guest star. It's just you and I. But because we're gonna finish it off tonight or today, we're just gonna go through it. So, I would say this movie, second best in terms of made, like in terms of written. I'd say it was second best.
I like it the most. I think
right after the
written wise.
Okay,
the first one is still pretty solid. It's solid. I just like this one more just because it's a finale. At this point, it was like, this is it. This is the end.
Yes.
Thanks, guys. Goodbye.
Yeah, and this is a very good, and this again true to form as is it? It's not Keeler. Is it Keeler?
I thought it was Ken Keeler.
It might be Ken Keeler. So as Keeler always does to form, because he's always the one that writes the finales. He did a very good job. And I know he worked on it with other people, but like if it was his idea for like how to end it, it was a very good ending, just like the other finales. But
it kind of wasn't really like this is the end until like they were getting chased by Zap Brannigan in the last 2 minutes.
That
was kind of really about it. So
it was a good little.
I don't want to say this is the best series finale or supposed series finale. It's not the strongest one, but it's still good.
Right.
Because I still like the devil's hands are played.
Yeah, no, that's a great ending. The devil's hands are playthings. Yeah, I know. No, is that what devil's hands are idle playthings? Yeah, that's the finale, right? Yeah. No, I agree. That one's still very good as a finale as well, but this one just feels a little bit more complete, right? Like a little bit more. There's more kind of will they, won't they with Leela and Fry, rather than just I made this play for you. Oh, continue playing. Like, yeah. And they're going into a wormhole. Like we don't know what's going to happen. And I think this one just feels more finite to me. So that's why I would say this one in particular is a better finale. But I do enjoy that episode as well. Plus, this one you have so much more to work with, right? Like this is a whole movie. And it has like a really good storyline, and I really like the idea that Fry is the central character, right? Like he's the important one. Yeah. Like it makes sense that he's. It works with Fry. Why Fry special? Yeah. Right. Yeah. So I love that he's like the main thing, right? And they focus more so on that, on the mythology of the show, right? That's great for this movie. But in any case, so okay, let's finish off this film, and then we'll do a quick little discussion about. Actually, you know what? Maybe we'll do that for one other time, but it'll be a quick one. But let's finish off this movie. What would you say is what's your favorite joke of this movie itself, or what are some favorite jokes of yours? Honestly, I think it's the 30-50-10, my dirty shifty friend. Really? I don't know why. I just love that. I love that little wordplay. It's not something I ever thought they could do, and they did it. It was like magic. It was just a nice thing that happened. Hey. It was a beautiful thing that happened. I'm sure that I'm missing one. I also do love the when Zap Brannigan gets out and holds all the weapons. Or no, right after they got the Feminista Planet Express ship, he goes down there and looks through the window. And at this point, all the guys are stuck in the go-go cage, and dancing. And he's like, "Something's very wrong here, but also a little right." And then that's when ponders it. And then, oh right, yeah. And they're all holding guns, and then Bender's holding guns at them. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So that little joke there is pretty good. Another Zap Brannigan one I like is when they know that Leela's the thing, and he's like, set coordinates for 36, 24, 36. And at the time I'm like, I never really noticed what those numbers. I'm like, what are those numbers? It's bust, waist, hips. Yeah. So Leela's quite a figurey woman. Yeah, which is definitely an hourglass for sure. Yes. And I like speaking because you mentioned like the go-go cage thing and like the guys dancing. Like that's one of my favorite jokes is the now you know what it's like to be held up in a go-go cage. And Hermie's like, what the hell are you talking about? Like I still laugh at that. I do also like when LaBarbara's trying to do her own version of a giant green snake under a chocolate cake. Woman. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And for some reason, Hermes knows exactly what she's saying because they still love each other, I guess, because they're like always on like a walkie-talkie together,
Right.
and he can hear what she's talking about. He's like, "Yeah, nice try, woman. Keep trying."
Keep trying, woman. Yeah, that's great.
Woman.
It's like a what's the sweet? What did she say? Sweet sea. Oh, sweet sea cattle of Seattle or something. He's like, not your strong suit, woman. Something like that.
Yeah.
I no, I thought that was great too. I mean, I'll still say the striped biologist taunters is probably up there.
Yeah.
Like that is
I
just such
remember
a
you
funny
laughing at that
line.
one
Like that
when you
was
first
great.
watched that. You
Yeah,
loved it.
I love that
What
joke.
are you gonna do?
Shoot
Shoot
us.
us?
Yeah.
As like they like hold like their like chest forward. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. They're all like they all have the target, like their bellies are targets. Like it's just so clever. And then, of course, and I've mentioned this in a few other episodes. I get that a lot. Like you're the most important person in the universe or whatever. Like I get that a lot. That's just a clever line, right? Cool. Well, then, what about your favorite or your MVP
That's gotta be
and
Fry.
a runner up? Shit, you're right. It's got to be Fry. I mean, I
Gotta
would
be
even
Fry.
go against my own. I mean, I want to go against my own rule, but I mean, Fry is kind of MVP. He's, okay. I'll be different for you. I'll say.
No, you can say, dude, it's fine to be the same. It
I
doesn't
know, I
matter.
know,
It's
I
not
know,
like
I
no,
know. But
you're not owning
I
it.
like to vary my answers a bit because I think that it's good to show like different hallmark or different spotlights on different characters, right? I'd say Leo because this is where Leo really shines, and it just goes that much more that I appreciate Billy West's version of like as the original
I was,
Leo Wong. So I would say as a statement of protest in my own form, which is also kind of thematic with this movie in general, I will state that Leo Wong is my MVP because he's that good of a villain. He's a
he was going to
bad
be my
guy and
honorable
he's an
mention.
asshole. It is your honorable mention, which is funny because
Yeah.
Fry is my honorable mention in this case. So we just kind of reversed it on that regard. But no, I think that is great. Yeah, I guess that must be it for the episode or for the movie, right? I mean, we finished them all. So originally, I was going to say, you know what? Let's just do all of it, and we'll do a conversation. But you know what? I think we've run long, and we did on purpose for this reason. I'm going to say we'll do one more. It'll be shorter, obviously, but we're going to do one more conversation discussing the films as a whole, and then we'll lead into what we'll do in the future and when we're going to start talking about the Comedy Central run. So in that case, we'll finish it off here. Thanks again, man. Do you have anything else left to throw in for Into the Wild Green Yonder?
Oh, just a nice, solid kind of series finale, supposedly.
At the time.
No, I think there's a little more production value in this, like especially with just even that crowd scene when they were counting down like 10, 9, 8 or whatever. There's a couple times they showed the audience, and if you know anything about animation, one character is annoying to animate, but when you have to do anything more than 6, you're just like, oh god, I'm gonna be spending all week on this. Oh, I'm supposed to get this done in a day.
Especially
I can't
with different
do that.
heads and different mouth shapes and all that. Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, no, kudos to the people who made these, man. Like it's a lot of work. It was a lot of work.
It's probably one of those things where they had like maybe 1 or 2 people on it, and that was their job for the entire production time for that.
That's insane.
Because I know it's just crazy. There's this one animator, a Miyazaki film. It took him a year to do, over a year to do, and it's just a crowd scene. It's actually a very involved crowd scene, which is way more technical than this, and it took him over a year to do for 2 seconds or something like that.
Crazy.
So,
that is absolutely crazy.
Yeah.
Cool, man. Well, I guess that's where we'll leave it off. So yeah, thanks again for joining me for our review and our discussion. And well, everybody please like, share, and subscribe for all things Futurama. And don't forget to comment if you'd like. And yeah, we'll see you later, man. Take it easy, and we'll see you next time for our final video discussion.
Toodaloo!
Toodaloo!